Go. Hey everybody, welcome to Houston No Problem, where we always have problems. Oh, my shirt's not buttoned all the way. How uncouth of me. There we go. All right, so it's Wednesday. Meme stock went meh. We also had Shiba Inu is still going absolutely knucking futz right now. I'm up, what, 100% since like yesterday? Come on, open up Coinbase. What are you doing? Yeah, SHIB's nuts. It's at 7.8 right now. It's up 65% since midnight. Not bad. Not bad at all. If I had not bought a helicopter ride, I'd be up 1,000%. But, such is life. Okay, so the Berkshire Hathaway weirdness, there's lots of speculation that it was likely a hedge fund that was in trouble that probably had decent number of Berkshire shares as assets under management, and they did a weird deal after hours so that they could boost the value of their assets under management significantly and avoid a margin call. But then when the market opened today, it was as if never happened. So my guess, someone just got hosed 50% on their shares. So, or maybe they wanted to take a big old loss or something to get tax breaks. Who knows? So that's where we are. Okay. What's going on? I'm sorry. The furnace guy just left. I ran into the shower and hopped out and got here only just a little bit late, so I'm a little discombobulated. We have. What do we got? We got John Cromer. He's popped in here early. Starting tomorrow, the DTC won't be accepting assets rated below AA as collateral in case of margin call. Yes, I was reading someone sent me a Reddit post about that was speculating that perhaps that was why they were boosting the value of Berkshire shares last night. It'll be interesting to see which shares get dumped by hedge funds in order to make room for those AA shares. And those AA shares are going to go up. Now, here's a big problem, is that Tesla is a junk status company. And there's a lot of folks who are heavily invested in Tesla. So if you're a junk status company and you are worth over $1 trillion and none of those stocks can be used as collateral against margin, then what are folks going to do with that stock? And we all know that Tesla's been like in a long squeeze for a long time because the fundamentals don't support that company being worth $1 trillion. TJ Maxx makes more money and has more cash on hand than Tesla. So, like, why is Tesla worth more than every other auto company in the world combined? Well, it's because it's in a long squeeze, and that's why. So, but I do wonder what they're going to do. What hedge funds that hold that stock are going to do with it if they can't use it as collateral anymore. Cameron Mirza just says Coinbase crashed. Did it? I just logged in, but maybe it's not allowing people to do things. Yeah, SHIB's still rocketing. That's weird. So let's see if there's any. Go to crypto.com and see if there's any arbitrage going on. Crypto.com has crashed. Awesome. Cool. Cool. Crypto's making me, I can't even tell what the prices are on crypto.com because it's crashed. Awesome. Okay, so there we are. Oh, and then John Cromer's, I always say that wrong there, boss. Mentions the Tesla thing right after I had said that, right before I actually even talked about it. New roll takes place October 29th for settlement date November 1st. There you go. All right. Not my concern. I'm not getting over margin called because I'm not over leveraged. See, that's what having a cash account does for you. Granted, if you can play with margin and you can do well with it, more power to you. But you're probably not playing the same stock game that those watching the show are playing. Anna Rulnick, Houston, I'm wondering how you plan to sell your shares during Moas. Market limit or stop loss? Probably markets mostly. My strategy is climbing the ladder because exponential growth results in gigantic numbers in the end. So you're going to hit this peak wherever the peak happens to be. I've talked about this in the past, but if I could sell every single one of my shares of GME for $100,000, I retire very comfortably for the rest of my life. So I'm going to sell one share at 100K, and then I'm going to set the next share 50% higher at 150, and the next share 50% higher at 225, and next share 50% higher at 337, next share 50% higher, and so on. And after 7 shares, I'm selling shares for $1 million a share. After 14 shares, I'm at $20 million a share. After 21 shares, I will have, if that ladder keeps climbing, I'll have made over $1 billion on that. If it doesn't keep climbing, and I feel like, the volume has gotten to a point where they're going to have close all their positions, I can just dump what I got left and live happily ever after, buried in supermodels in my Bond Lair volcano house, and never have to have a worrying thought in my head ever again, except how to kill Mr. Bond. Okay. Anna Rulnick, is there a significant difference between crypto platforms? I've never bought crypto because it seems so nefarious, but I was thinking about LRC coin. Thoughts? It depends. Some crypto platforms charge you quite a bit in commission. You can buy Bitcoin on CashApp, but it's like a 1.5% commission. So it's going to charge you quite a bit on there. The fees for Coinbase Pro are fairly low. Crypto.com will give you access to all sorts of weird coins you can't get elsewhere. Same thing with Binance and Gecko or something like that. I have not remember that one. For me, crypto is speculation. That's all it, like, you speculate and it goes up because people think, it's going to go up. But it serves no actual purpose except for speculation. I've said this before. Crypto is speculation, paying for crimes, and laundering money. Those are the 3 uses of crypto at the moment. Blockchain has other uses. You can use blockchain for all sorts of things, but cryptocurrency is just those 3 things. So it may one day, when they stabilize, can be used as currency of the future. But when you've got stuff that goes 65% in a day and can crash 50% overnight, like that cannot be a common currency that folks will be using to buy their groceries and pay rent. We all heard stories about the kid that used 10 Bitcoin to buy Domino's pizza or whatever. Oh no, like he just spent almost $1 million buying pizza. So there's going to be infinite regret in using these coins as a currency. I know people are stoked that AMC is figuring out ways people can like go to movies using Bitcoin and Dogecoin and stuff. But if you think about like the speculative nature of these coins, that if you're going to be paying for a $12 movie with a year from now what results in like $100,000 or something, there's going to be less folks willing to spend those coins on anything. It reminds me of a couple of friends who were early employees at Apple. And one of them was vice president of research and development. He was like employee number 8. And he'd tell me about his $1 billion motorcycle accident. That when Apple went public, he went out and bought a Ducati, was racing around on it, crashed into a wall and almost lost his leg. And the amount of stock he spent on that Ducati is worth $1 billion today. And then the other guys, we were talking, and the other guy's like, yeah, it's like my $155 million basement remodel. So sometime in the 90s, His wife's like, we need to remodel the basement. So he sold some stock, remodeled the basement. Today it's worth $155 million. So there's that regret. Like I've got the regret that I mean, I love the fact that I want a helicopter ride. I have to recognize that. But the helicopter ride ended up now costing me $10,000. So in SHIB. So there's there's got to weigh that against the other. Your cost of living versus things you want to do versus, using those cryptos as a standard currency. It's all speculative at this point. All speculative. Okay. Oh, I got people telling me to turn up our intro. Haha. No double intro for you folks today. There we go. Thing is that I don't know if you ever used OBS. There's like a little, I don't know, looks like an eyeball maybe, and you click the eyeball on and off. And if the eyeball's on, whenever you switch screens, that thing is going to come up again. It's very silly. Very silly indeed. And I just get so excited to start the show, I forget to actually hit that button. Okay. Oh, Cruel Clown sent some looks like we're going to be going to the tropics here. Got some coordinates. Where's my Google Earth? There's my Google Earth. Ta-da. Bing. Bing, bing. Control V, go. Where are we going? We're going deep into the Sahara. We are in, it looks like an old cinder cone. Or is that a slash oasis? Slash, that's awesome. Wa'anamis. Check that out. Got like a bunch of little lakes in the middle of what looks like a cinder cone. Is it a cinder cone? What are you? There's no flows out of it. Like, it's black. What's the, okay, so we go from 1,500 feet to 12, it's a hole. 1,530, so it's not really steep on the sides. And then the hole drops almost 300 feet into the center of that. Sides aren't steep. It's got almost like a little cinder in the middle. What a weird little bugger you are. What are you? I want to go take a Paris to car rally car out here and see what this is all about. Wa'anamis. Wa'anamis. Okay. Oh, I forgot to assign a Chrome. Got to click on this. Got to go to Warren Buffett. Do that. Turn Chrome on. Wa'anamis. Oops. There we go. Come on, Chrome. Pop up there. Wa'anamis. There's a volcanic cinder. Okay. Pleistocene, Holocene era. I want to see pictures. Show me. Ooh, that is cool looking. How cool are you? What? I want to go here. This is rad. What? What? That place is cool. So a cinder cone in the middle, and this must be just all old cinder, all that black stuff. Crazy. Look at that place. That's awesome. Wa'anamis. Black sands. Oh, it's all black sand. So it must be old cinder that's been ground up into black sand. What a cool place. Dude. Cruel Clown. You just put a bucket list item on my list here, because this place is rad. I am definitely taking a camel out here or something. It's in Sudan? Is that what they said? Oh. Oops. No. No. Come on. Take me back to this one. Okay. Oh, Libya. So it's in Libya. Oh, man. Probably can't go to Libya for a while. All right. Cool. That place is rad. Wa'anamis. 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 I'm going there someday. That place is cool. All right. What we got from you folks? Beats by the Wood also has one for me. This one is also looks like desert latitudes, possibly. Scene. Google Earth. Google Earth. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Are we in Iran? Ooh, look at this place. This looks like got some nice grounds there. What are you? I don't know what you are, but you're cool looking. Can we go street? We can go street view. So let's go street view. Maybe. Can we go street view? It's got minarets. Nope, Google car has not been here yet. But where are we? Where are we? Let's find out where we are. Come on. Oh, I get ground level. We are in the middle of a giant city somewhere. Herat. And are we in Iran? Are we in Pakistan or Afghanistan? Where are we? Oh, Afghanistan. Cool. Cool places around the world. We should make a Houston's geo waypoint bucket list of the coolest places you guys send me, and then I don't know if this YouTube channel ever like truly takes off, or Moas happens. I'll just do live shows from these locations. Need one hell of a satellite phone to do the Wa on Namas place, but yeah. Death Valley 69, Houston. You don't seem to do any TA. What are your thoughts on TA, especially on heavily manipulated meme stocks? As TA is more like astrology and palm reading, where the prediction is 50-50. Yeah, I don't really do TA. Mainly because, well, for a couple reasons. One, when the stocks are as manipulated as they are, there's people on the other side doing the same TA, right? You have somebody at the hedge fund who's doing that TA and go, oh no, the natural stuff says it's going to break out here. So what we should do, we should short the hell out of it and drop the price again. And so they're competing against the natural rhythm that you'd see in the markets. Another problem is that humans are really good at pattern recognition and recognizing patterns where there are none. So, if I spent all day drawing flags and looking for cups and handles and doing all those things and telling you about this stuff, it wouldn't do much. What I like to do is I like to look at big picture and say, who's in trouble where, what this stuff is costing in the end, and can they get away with it? And my opinions are no. That it's costing them way too much money, and they can't get away with any of this stuff. And there's an eventuality. There's determinate eventuality in the end. I've mentioned this when I've done other shows before, like interviews, is people want to know the specific date something is going to happen, and you really can't predict the date. It's like trying to predict an earthquake. An earthquake is going to happen eventually, and all you know is that each day you're one day closer to the earthquake happening. We can't specifically predict when one of these events is going to happen, when the Moas is going to happen, but we know that each day we're a day closer to it happening. There can be outside players that jump in and can move and shake, just like earthquakes in Ohio, not very common, but since they started fracking and injecting hydraulic fluid into the earth and cracking the earth, earthquakes are happening in Ohio. So you can start to predict the earthquake can happen more often in Ohio or Oklahoma or wherever else they're doing the fracking because of the injection into the system. We have folks like whales. A whale could jump in at any moment and just yeehaw and buy several $1 billion in GME and absolutely just kick this thing off out of just pure shits and giggles. Are they going to do it? Probably not. But they have the technology and ability to do that. We can inject some hydraulic fluid with the NFT crypto dividend that GME is, the rumors are going out about. And that can be something that triggers some earthquakes. So you and me, we're nobodies. We are retail investors. As a giant school of fish, we can make some differences. But for the most part, we're tapped out. You're not going to see a whole bunch of large investment from retail all of a sudden because we're poor, and we don't have the excess money to go and buy. Oh, you know what? There's a float of 73 million on or a float of 50 million on GME. Let's all just buy 50 million more shares. We don't necessarily have the ability to do that. So we're relying on the big sharks to do that. We're just the sucker fish hanging onto their bellies hoping for the scraps at this point. So, okay. Jordan, super chats. Houston, what is your AMC Moas price target? I think AMC will peak at about 1/10 of what GameStop will peak. If GameStop goes to $1 million, AMC goes to 100,000. If GME goes to $100,000, AMC goes to 10,000, and that's about because there's 10 times the float, and it might even be less than that simply because of the GameStop board is diabolical and they want to hurt the hedge funds. The AMC board seems to be friends with hedge fund people, and they won't necessarily do the rough and tumble things it takes to kind of get them off their backs. So that's, GME is going to be king in this, I think, for sure. Tadas Mikolaskis, please buy new camera, at least one where you are in focus. Yeah, I don't know what. My eyes are terrible. I can never tell what's in focus and what isn't. So I do need a new camera. I need one that can mount somewhere, so I don't have this tripod. I have a giant tripod in front of my two monitors, and I have to like bob and weave to see what's going on. Cameron Mirza, happy birthday. Can you go to Vulcan, Alberta and Google the Star Trek Enterprise? What? Vulcan, Alberta. Oops, I forgot to turn on the bing. There we go, flying. There's Vulcan, Alberta, out here in the middle of nowhere. And Vulcan, Alberta. There's got to be a Star Trek Enterprise around here somewhere, right? Let's do Star Trek mural. Search. Here we go. Small town of Vulcan, Alberta, where half the town is a golf course. We're getting there. We're getting there. Come on, Street View. Take me in. Take me in. Is it on the side of this building over here? Can we see if I go that way? Oh, there we go. There they are. That looks like next generation there. Got next generation on the side. Huh. All right, let's do Star Trek Enterprise. Vulcan, Alberta? No, that's not popping up. Well, if there's more to that, maybe it's in, if I go turn off Google Earth, go here. Vulcan, Alberta, Star Trek Enterprise. Oh, there's Star Trek Enterprise. Look at that. All right, someone built a big old model. Good for you, Vulcan, Alberta. Way to embrace that. I appreciate that. I appreciate that about you. Okay. Oh, shoot. Am I missing any? I am. Dr. Stonk. Dr. Stonk says, now that people are going electric with vehicles, do you see eels switching to petrol? How would they make that transition? It might be rough. I remember years ago, there was a book and essay by Stephen Jay Gould that was Why Camels Don't Have Wheels. And it's an evolutionary book about like how, you know, wheels are impractical in sand and whatnot. And but my friends and I got discussing like the real reason camels don't have wheels is because human bodies can't produce, or animals can't produce enough lipids to keep those wheels lubricated. And we did all this math about how many calories a day that a camel would have to eat to be able to have wheels instead of hooves. And it was pretty ridiculous. It was, you know, like 150,000 calories a day that a camel out in the desert is going to have to find in order to keep enough lipids in its axles to be able to wheel itself across the desert. But so eels have to have a high fat diet to do that. They'd probably have to like start eating whale or something in order to have enough lipid to make the switch to petrol. At least that's what I'm thinking. Matt Newton, know an app or platform that would allow someone to do basic if-then logic for auto investing, like sell 10% gain, buy it 10% down, and repeat. No, I'm sure they exist. I just do that stuff myself. Yeah. Have to. Yeah, you just have to just set the limit order at 10% above, I think, and then set a buy order at 10% lower, and see what goes from there. All right, scene, Earth, turn off the Chrome. LM is really wanting me to go to this place here. Going south. Looks like we're in America. Looks like we're in the desert. Looks like we are at a, I don't know, is that a mine? What are we got here? Looks like maybe a foundation for something. Might have been another foundation of something. Got a couple more foundations here. What are you? There's a big old circly thing. That's a runway. Ah, looks like we got an abandoned base. Definitely abandoned. Might be old World War II training base. Yeah. There's lots of these things. There's so many old World War II bases that are out there. Like, look at all these spots. These are, yeah, this place just scrubbed off the map. This is a whole ghost base here. Got some retention ponds. What are you? What are you? This place is huge. How big is this? 10 miles across, plus, because we got more development 13 miles away. It's a big, old, abandoned base. And looks like more desert. Are we in, where are we, Nevada? Scroll out, scroll out, scroll out. Looks like Nevada. Come on, internet, you can do it. You can refresh my images. Oh, no, internet just died. At least I think it died. Ah, shit. Oh. Come on, man. There we go. We're back. Sorry, my internet just crapped out. But we're back. We're okay. So I'm somewhere in Nevada. Bonnie Claire, Goldfield. Goldfield's awesome. Goldfield's one of like the coolest ghost towns there is. Let's check out this place. It's like 200 city blocks. There's huge buildings in here. 10 years ago, there was like 4 residents, but a few people have moved in and made little tchotchke shops. But there's like gigantic abandoned buildings. The World Heavyweight Championship of Boxing was held here in the early 1900s. Yeah, that place is cool. But anyway, back to the abandoned military base. So Tonopah is up north. Tonopah is up somewhere up here, if I remember correctly. Austin. Yeah, Tonopah is here. The Tonopah bombing range. I wonder if this has to do with, this old base has to do with Tonopah bombing range. I bet it does. So, yeah. Big old, I bet this is radioactive nuclear. You're not allowed in here because, yeah, underground testing and whatnot, above ground testing. Now, where's the Tonopah? Stonewall Mountain. Where are you? Tonopah bombs. Another runway there. So that one looks active. Where are the... Oh, are these underground explosions? Some of these might be underground detonations, but My brain can't remember exactly. Margosa Valley, Las Vegas, Tonopah nuclear test site. Tonopah test range. Well, that was the where's the test site? Where's the nuclear thingamajiggies? They're out here somewhere. Whole bunch of craters, just chains and chains of craters, and I cannot find them. Okay, been through here, bunch of little cinder cones there, but the Tonopah. Let's do Tonopah nuclear test sites. Oh, just keeps taking me back to the airport. Dadgummit, where are those stupid bombed out craters? I'm going to look. If you guys have the coordinates for the craters, we'll go back to that later. Rather than seeing me just search Google and go back and forth on the map all the time. Holy moly, so many things while I... Okay, that's Dr. Stonk. That was Matt Newton. Skillful Thread. After more news on the NFT for a marketplace and not a dividend, what else can trigger Moas? Are we just playing the long game for steady price raises? I mean, if we are in the long game, we're going to be paying significantly less in taxes. But if we aren't in the long game and something's going to kick off, I think if they're going to move the shares from the DTCC into a new type of exchange, then it's 90 days. They have 90 days and that's it to close out all those positions. Because that's the amount of notice that GameStop would have to give to the DTCC in order to remove their shares from their system. So then it's not necessarily a long game. Then it's just 90 days from whenever they set that date. All the hedge funds and everybody who has shorted this stock has 90 days to close their positions, and that's it. They cannot let it extend further than that. Because after 90 days, you can't be trading any GameStop on the regular exchange. That's illegal. So they have to close those positions. Otherwise, all those shares just move over to the crypto dividend, and you get left with all these orphans that shouldn't exist, and then the SEC has to step in and go, what the hell? Why is this stuff there? So if it is a movement to that system, 90 days. Oh, Berkshire Hathaway just went bonkers again. Is that what I'm getting from Julius? Holy smokes. Let's look here. Google Chrome. Open up Google Chrome. Shut down Google Earth. Go back to there. There we go. BRK-A. Oh, what the hell? Just did it again. 504,000. All right. This will give me the quick volume here if I open up the app. Okay, let's see here. Go there. Go there. BRK-A. Yep. Just shot up 70,000 bucks after hours. On what volume? One share. One share just kicked up the price 16%. Someone's playing a game here trying to get the price of Berkshire to steadily increase, but it's down. It was at 437 yesterday. It's down right now overall from market close to market close. Interesting. That's one share. That's one share of Berkshire Hathaway being sold for 16% too much. What games are these folks playing right now? Maybe they're facing margin calls after close, and so they do one of these deals, and they've got an hour to meet margin, right? That's the new rules. They have 1 hour to meet margin. So if they manage to sell a share for too much before that hour is up at the end of close, then they met their margin. Maybe that's what's happening. And they don't care what the price is the next day because they're just going to get margin called again the next day. So tomorrow we might see another weird sale of shares after hours for Berkshire that's absolutely bonkers. so that these folks can meet margin. I don't see how the SEC could look at this and not think shenanigans, that there's manipulation going on. Huh. Yes. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Oh, there's a floating object at that location. Sorry, LM. Control V. You guys are getting lots of Google Earth today. I missed the floating object. The floating object. Floating? Floating? I don't see anything floating. Floating? There's a floating object? Well, BRK-A, but where? But where, LM? I'm out here in Tonopah Nuclear Test Range, and I don't see any floating objects. I don't... What am I looking at? Where's a floating object? There's supposed to be a space alien out here I just don't know about. I have missed a floating object. I don't see. There's a little doohickey there. An old foundation there. Road. That's probably tarmac. It's the dirt road that's still used, obviously. That's graded. I don't see anything, man. I see nothing. I see nothing. Nothing at all in this very large old Air Force base. Denada. I don't know. I don't see it. I just don't see it. I don't see a floating object. I'm sorry, LM. I don't see it. I see nothing floating. I don't see any object floating here. I got nothing. I got nothing, my man. I can't see. There's I don't see anything. Is there like a cruise missile flying through the air that I'm missing? Sometimes those show up on Google Earth, and these bombing ranges will be just like a cruise missile mid-flight. But I don't see it in here, my man. I'm so sorry. But thank you for super chats. You have to like send me a screenshot so I can see it on Twitter DM or something. Okay. All right, back to the main chat. Back to the main chat here. Green eggs and spam. Okay. Prague went bonkers, hovering around, so 3 times of the volume, and price drops. Weird. They're doing weird stuff, man. They're doing weird stuff out there. Nice hair. Well, thank you. Sometimes the hair does well. Lugs. And I do cut my own hair. This is all Houston. This is all Houston right here. I've been cutting my own hair for like 20 years. I just figured out how to do it. my roommate, he's like, "You cut your own hair?" He's had this like light bulb go off in his head. And a couple hours later, he's like, "Help me." It's just like random pieces of his head shaved off. I'm like, buddy, there is, it's just put a razor to your head isn't going to magically do it. I basically do 3s up to the side of my head, and I do 2s, and I do 1s. And I go through and I cut the hair, and then the back part's always the hard part. You have to feel, because I have weird calyx back there. It might be like a giant tuft, like a Hare Krishna or something. And so I cut it, hop out of the shower, dry it, and then the next day I'll find like I missed a whole like fist-sized section. Got to go over it again. But yeah, okay. You guys realize that if you had spent $1,000 on Shiba Inu in December of last year, you'd be sitting on what? Like $4 billion right now? Something like that? If I had known Shiba Inu existed December of last year, I would have been like, yeah, here's $1,000. My plan, when I did my crypto show, I think it was episode 2, I said, hey, I'm putting all this money into shit coins, and I'm going to see if any of them pop. And Shiba Inu did. That one's paid off, man. It's paid off. Everything I invested in the other shit coins that I don't remember the names of. Shiba Inu has resulted in profit. That was the one. I think I invested in like 10 of them. And hey, all right, cool. That worked. Fantastic. Let's do a little SHIB check because Coinbase is apparently down, or crypto.com stock. One of those is down. And SHIB, holy shit. SHIB is at 8.5 now. What the hell? My goodness. Ugh. If I just never sold and done the helicopter ride later. Van Civic, I think they are using Berkshire as collateral and dumping everything else. I think you might be right on this one. Let's ask for a Berkshire with 900. What? Man. Well, dude. Brr. But yeah, Shiba Inu is at 85 right now. That's a month ago was at 22 when I sold the first time, and I doubled my money. I would have quadrupled it after that. Oh, it hurts. It's all right. It's all right. My friend Matt's probably making tens of thousands of dollars off this right now, and he will fund another trip to Hawaii. Right, Matt? Okay. Shiba Inu just passed Dogecoin in market cap. So, all right. Binance, non-US, VPN, only way to go. You can trade a margin with non-US Binance. Really? Elevated finance. I've never used Binance, so yeah. People ask about Prague. Prague appears to be getting hit hard. That's all I know. I don't know much beyond that. Yeah, Prague, the volume, absolutely bonkers. And the price dropped. So it went high of 442 today, finished at right now, low of 368. Right now it's at 375. And its volume was nuts. It was like 10 times what it normally is. So my guess is that they're getting shorted or being sold off like crazy at the moment. Jens Berlin, Houston. Hope all is well. Do you know any interesting stories or places of the Tabernas Desert in Spain? Not particularly. I need to go there someday. It's okay. We got the Google Earth up. Go like that. Tabernas Desert, Spain. Bing, bing. Let's go to España. So out here, southern Spain. This is, I think, if I remember correctly, this is like where mercury came from. Like most of the big mercury mines were out here. Might be mistaken, but I think it was the Tabernas Desert. Tabernas specifically, I don't know much about. I do know that like most of the fruits grown for Europe are in these like crazy tarpy farms. Like, so you look at this place and you think, oh, it's a city? No, it's tarps. Lots and lots of tarps that make these little greenhouses, and there's just hundreds of square miles of them. Come on, get down. Can you get a street level? Get a street level in this place so people can see what's going on. Keep going. Keep going. Oh, now street level there. Exit ground view, because the street level is bonkers to look at. Where's a good highway? Is there a good highway? There we go. We'll go on the AL 9008. So they pretty much took this desert. They put in these like visqueen greenhouses everywhere. There we go. And all of the fruits for pretty much the whole of Europe is underneath these things, just baking away in the sun, making oranges and limes. And it is hundreds of square miles of this. And it's like nonstop. It just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. And that's all I know about this region is that all the fruits are these things. And you can just see how much land this takes up. It's incredible. So if you're buying an orange at a grocery store in London or in Berlin, you're probably buying it from this. And just to give you a scale of how big this place is, it goes. So this is, yeah, it's 25 miles across one direction and 8 to 10 miles across the other direction. And it's all fruit trees underneath these tarps. And you can see that that bleeds out into the mountains as well, where they're doing it, and down the coast. So this whole region is basically just visqueen, like square miles of visqueen, of plastic, and moves up more of it up in here. So this whole region of the desert. So that's all I know about this area. I'm sorry I don't know much more. I can look into maybe trying to find some stories, but I've not been through here. Where's somewhere over here is where I have two friends that won the U.S. national championships for kickboxing in their weight classes, and I think it might be Benidorm. I think it was Benidorm. There's like a amusement park or something in here, and the world championships for kickboxing a few years ago was here. I really wanted to go, but my class schedule would not allow me to leave for a week and go watch them punch people in the face. But yeah, so that was my one chance at the moment to go there. But I would love to check out this area. I'm sure the mountains here are cool. But no, I'm sorry. I don't know much about it other than the fruit trees. Okay. I'm only 40 minutes behind the chat already, so Gerardo Spatuzzi, thoughts on SOS crypto mining? Is SOS the company that BBig's going to be giving out shares in? Is that the right one? I can't remember. But there's a lot of crypto mining folks out there, and they need access to power. And so I think that's the big deal is if you can get access to cheap electricity, then you can afford to mine crypto. Hey, buddy. Hey. Yeah, get your face out of there. Yeah. So beyond that, crypto mining guys are setting up shop all over the place and trying to find where the cheapest power is, and that's the important thing to look for. So, yeah. Okay. Go back up, try to find some chats that I may have missed because I'm only, an hour behind in the chats already, and I'm an hour into the show. Okay, that was the Binance question. That was Jens Berlin. Okay, yeah, sorry, Jens, I didn't have more info on that region for you. Am I having sync issues with the stream? Is that what someone's saying? I might be. My internet's acting a little weird, so audio may have gone through and then video is lagging, be my guess. Hope a solar flare doesn't happen this week. Don't want to lose my crypto. Yep. Get yourself a Faraday cage to store all your electronics in or something, or just hope that they have one for the servers. Kyle Griffith, Houston, do you know why GameStop chose to go with Loopring to issue a dividend instead of using another crypto platform? My guess is because of Layer 2 in Loopring, is that Layer 2 acts like Ethereum 2.0 and that the gas fees are really, really cheap. So if you're going to offer a crypto dividend where it's going to go out to people, or you're going to create an exchange where it's going to be traded, you're going to want to be in that Layer 2. Otherwise, it's so expensive, people won't be able to use the system. And that's my guess is that you don't have Layer 2 in MetaMask or other wallet platforms. I've been trying to figure out how to get my Problemo coins into layer 2 so that I can actually get them to people, but they won't take it because it's not. I'm a nobody. I'm not a Fortune 500 company trying to use the system. Okay. Getting LMs. Oh, sorry, LM. I don't see anything floating there, my man. I don't know what's going on. Okay. Stonk Mom, don't you think this being Q4 should happen soon? Do you think hedge fund clients would be wanting to know where their money is? I mean, if I were a client of a hedge fund, I would have lots of concerns right now. But the thing is that a lot of these folks who join hedge funds, they're set it and forget it folks. They're trust fund millionaires and billionaires, and they don't spend any of their time thinking about this stuff. They just have some money guys like, hey, give me a bunch of money. I'll make sure you get money. And they're like, okay. And they met them at the yacht club or whatever. And then they go off to their apartment in Monaco, and then they fly to their mansion in the Seychelles, and then they go skiing in Aspen, and they don't really think about this stuff. I think a lot of them might start thinking about it when in January they go to use their American Express Platinum card and it's denied. And they go, what's going on? I don't understand. Then they'll know. Christopher Sawchuk says, allegedly SOS has access to hydroelectric power. I don't know how diluted their stock is, but I've been holding since forever. Yeah, there's lots of guys. If we fly across the world here, and we will go to Ephrata, Washington. We went to a bunch of dams yesterday, including the Grand Coulee Dam. But in Ephrata, Washington, and Soap Lake, Washington, which is... There's Coulee City, Soap Lake. There we go. So there's Soap Lake, and Ephrata is in here. Lakeview, Ephrata here. So this whole area has a whole bunch of server farms for Microsoft, Amazon Web Services, you name it. And a lot of the crypto guys have moved into these towns as well because of the largest dam in the United States is the Grand Coulee Dam, and it generates a boatload of power. And so, Electric City. There's a reason why it's called Electric City, because so much electricity comes through Electric City. And they've got just a host of wholesale electricity they can buy. And so they set up a whole bunch of server farms in this area out in the desert because of how cheap the power is. Like 97% of the power in Washington is hydroelectric. And for some reason, there's a coal fire plant out here in Montana that generates electricity for Washington for some stupid reason. And then Washington exports a whole bunch of its cheap hydroelectric power to California. And I don't understand why. Like, why don't you just keep what you have and then sell your excess? Why do you have to buy a bunch of coal fire stuff from Montana when you've got ample amounts of hydroelectric dams freaking everywhere in Washington? If you follow the Columbia River is just, when you go east of Portland, it's dam after dam after dam. So, dams. And keep going. We've got more to go. I think I get to Snake River to get the next ones. Oh, at that dam? Nope, that's not. That's just the Highway 97 bridge. Okay, follow Snake River. 5 dams. Keep going. 6 dams. 7 dams. That's not one. We got 8 dams. And we get into like Hell's Canyon area, and there's gonna be even more. So at least 8 dams there. I think the wind might be the wild area, but there's just dam after dam after dam after dam. Just give a whole bunch of dams, and that's just the Columbia and Lower Snake, and then you get up to Lake Roosevelt, which is one of the largest man-made lakes in the U.S. behind the Grand Coulee Dam. And you've got other dams up in Pomeroy County. You got dams on the Spokane River. There's just dams everywhere. Dams in Chelan. Just damn Chelan. So there's tons of cheap electricity in Washington as a result of all that hydroelectric power. And we get snowfall like nobody's business. The most snowfall ever recorded is on Mount Baker, and they can get over 2,000 inches in a year. I think 2,700 was the record in 99. So the snowfall is insane, and then all that water goes downhill once spring comes and loads up behind these big reservoirs, and you just have lots of hydropower. Okay. All right. Looking for the things I haven't covered yet. Scrolling. We're scrolling. Go back to Big Houston. Goose napping. All right, this looks like an interesting coordinate to go to. We'll go back to the map and we'll see what a goose napping, whatever that means. Flying across the U.S. Going to Ohio. And we're deep into Ohio. And we're at a pier on the lake. And there's a lady. There's a building. And some people. I'm sure there's a goose around here somewhere. I was led astray unless it's underneath me. Nope. Nope. Well, goose. I don't see you there, my man. I'm sure there are geese all over the place here. That was as exciting as I hoped it would be. Always on, so that means we'd only have 90 days to sell. So what happens if hedge funds close on last day? Are we screwed? Yeah. Basically, if they get to day 90, that means they either have to, their brokers have to liquidate everything and do whatever they can to get those shares back, or they've done it already and the buying's over and they're moving on. You might get past day 90, and some of you may be stuck with synthetic shares, and I don't know. I have to think about exactly about how that would work. So if they don't close out all the positions, we get to day 90, and day 90, GameStop removes their shares from the DTCC computers, dumps them over into NFT style on Loopring Network, and then there's synthetics left over. There's those of us who are trapped somehow in this system, and do we get auto closed? I don't know. That'd be really interesting to think about. I mean, this is the first time anything like this has happened, so we have to think about, all right, do you get auto closed, or do they still have to buy those synthetics back that are bouncing around? Because those would still exist in the fast system, even though the physical shares are gone. That's a conundrum that you have postulated, and I don't know the answer to it. I don't know. Houston moving his windows reminds me of Tom Cruise in an airport. Just, where's the crime? Most of the OTC was very red today. Probably because they're dumping. They are dumping. Circle looked like UFO. UFO is with a shadow? Oh, is that what you guys saying for that LM's coordinates? If it is, I didn't see it. There was a circle with a little dark dot. Maybe that's the floating thing? Okay. Oh, I forgot to say this thing I always forget to say, and that I get reminded of by people afterwards, and they're like, Houston, remind people if they want to get their question answered to do the super chat. And I forget to say that part because it highlights like a green or blue or red or whatever on the stream, and it goes right to the top, and I see it. And so if I'm not answering your question because I'm scrolling through and my thread is always resetting weird, you can always do the thing where you send money. Someone asked me like, you have a YouTube show? What's that like? And I was like, it's like I'm a stripper, but I'm stripping my brain at all times. I'm a brain stripper. People make it rain and I make it brain. That sounded terrible. I shouldn't have said it that way. Okay. Joshua Pay. Houston, I just wanted your thoughts about the housing market in the upcoming year. Well, I think the housing market's slowing down because credit is there's a credit crunch happening at various banks. And if people don't have access to cash, they don't have access to houses. I also think that a lot of folks bought houses right now that is a peak. And if the housing market's slowing down, then prices are going to drop. Especially if we get the big market correction that everyone's expecting. Because, people's 401ks dry up in those instances. Their investments, don't grow, and they don't have cash on hand for down payments. And then folks get laid off from jobs, and there's lots of unemployment. And that's when the housing bubble goes bloop. That's what happened in the 80s. When the housing bubble burst. It happened in 2008 when the housing bubble burst, and what's probably going to happen now, especially considering that, coming out of COVID, we have 8 million homeowners and renters that are facing eviction, which totals to like 40 million people facing eviction and foreclosure, and it only took 2.5 million foreclosures in the U.S. to result in the entire global economy collapsing in 2008. And so we've got housing issues and real estate issues here in the U.S., and we got them across the world in China going on, where China's real estate market has absolutely just poof into nothing, and people have lost their entire, not just their own personal life savings, but like their extended family's life savings, where they're trying to buy these properties cash. They're putting down payments on units that are never going to get built, and because there isn't really the mortgage issue in China, it's a personal wealth issue. People are like, oh, I will put a down payment or for a condo in this building that will be constructed in the future, and then the building never gets constructed, and the money's just gone, because these real estate firms in China were basically Ponzi schemes. They're Ponzi schemes that you take money from a bunch of people for future units over here and use that to pay for this place here, and then you hope that you can get to one of the other units and then promise to build a whole bunch more and take a bunch of money from those folks. So, I mean, if you could set up a Ponzi scheme in China where you could sell the same unit that isn't constructed dozens of times, you could probably make a lot of quick cash that way. Yeah. We're going to build this building. I'm just going to need $100,000 from each of you to make sure it happens, and then skip town. I wouldn't doubt if some of that was happening with such a Ponzi scheme. But, there's a lot of money that's just gone and isn't recycled back into the system. So the velocity of money isn't there. It's just poof, it doesn't exist anymore. $300 billion in bonds won't get paid back. The interesting thing, Evergrande apparently made their payment. My guess is the Chinese government just printed some money and said, here, make your payment. But they're getting out of the real estate market, and they're going to focus on their electric vehicles or something. More power to them, but that doesn't change the fact that they own 2% of all the real estate in China, and they're not going to be continuing building anything that they promised anybody. So what then? They can say like, oh, we're getting out of real estate, but they own 2% of the real estate in China. 1 in 50 properties is owned by Evergrande. And they're not even the largest landowner. They're the second largest. So, I don't know. think the future real estate market's going to have a hiccup. That's to put it mildly. There you go. Hori asks, Houston, when retail can't switch brokers, what did they buy? Not even a synthetic? No IOU? Could brokers just play everything on their platform? Yeah, I think they have synthetics. I think we all have synthetics. I wouldn't doubt if every share I own in every stock I own is some sort of synthetic. And I think that gets to the crux of what the Moas is going to be all about. Is that so many of the shares sold, if not all of the shares sold, are synthetic shares. So if I go on right now and I buy a share of GameStop, 100% I am not going to get a real share. I'm going to get synthetics that was probably generated by some market maker out there, and that's it. I don't think if I buy a share of, even companies like Amazon, Amazon is shorted to shit. It's the most heavily shorted stock in the list of heavily shorted stocks, like Microsoft, Amazon, these big time companies, they still get shorted like crazy. My guess is they're naked shorted. I don't think the majority of it is folks buying the physical shares or hedge funds borrowing the shares and selling them. I think they're naked shorting the shares, and they get to T35 on Amazon and they're like, well, I guess I got to go borrow something now. But yeah, if you look at this, the data, I wonder if I can find a good list here. Let's go to the Chrome and see if we can find a good list of shorted stocks. Most heavily shorted stocks by dollar. Okay, Avis, AMC. This is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for short interest. No, don't give me short interest. I want the dollar value. Dollar value. Is this the one I'm looking for? Okay, get out of my way. Okay. Nope, you're looking at short interest again. This is not what I'm looking at. Although Big Five shorting sporting goods, there's a short of 41%. Damn. Time to find some Big Five. BGFV. Interesting. Okay. Not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the dollar values. Dollar by dollar. Nope. By dollar, my man. Where's that list? I want short squeeze stocks. I want high dollar. Maybe if I just pop in Amazon. Amazon. There we go. Amazon takes over as most shorted U.S. stock. This is what we're looking at. So this is from August. And give me the dollar value, my man. Huh. But then give me the dollar value. But anyway, oh wait, there we go. So Tesla short interest is at 9.93 billion. So Amazon's more than that apparently. So Amazon's 9.95 billion. So confirmed shorts on Amazon is more than anybody else. So if you can sell naked big time stocks, $3,000 a share. If you and I had the power to just print $3,000 share stocks and sell them to anyone who will buy them, and then take that cash, put into a Cayman Islands account, and then declare our fund bankrupt and walk away, what's anyone going to do about it? Nothing. Once you've done like billions of dollars in crime, that's loophole crime, you have a limited liability corporation. You just walk away from that limited liability corporation. Sorry, can't pay our bills. So sorry. We gave ourselves huge bonuses as a part of our pay structure, and we're done. It's no different than what any other vulture capitalist does, and they get away with it, and they get elected, governor to Massachusetts and senator to Utah and become a presidential candidate for a major party in 2012. That's what they do. That's what they do. They can just destroy things, collect cash, and walk away because that's the way the limited liability corporations are set up. The corporation takes the liability. You're not liable. You're just an employee. I'm just the CEO. I'm not liable. The company itself is liable. The company just paid me $1 billion in bonuses, and I walked away. So they do it with the big boys as well as the little ones. It's just that a company like Amazon has so much cash and reserves that the price isn't going to drop. So you can just keep naked shorting that stuff, and the stock's going to keep going up. You just, walk away. Okay. Ba-ba-bum. Josh says, don't buy stock on a platform that also offers crypto. That becomes a Ponzi scheme. I do wonder about Robinhood, because Robinhood's talking about how they're going to have wallets for everybody soon. And, for the last 2 years, if you're buying Bitcoin, you have no idea if you're actually buying Bitcoin or not. And if Robinhood has any Bitcoin whatsoever, or they're just taking your cash and sinking into other investments and just letting it do its thing. And then when you want your money back, they just give your cash back. It's really sketchy to me when you can trade crypto and not have a wallet for it. Because then there's no way that the blockchain is being verified anywhere in there that those transactions are happening. So, but Robin is talking about getting a wallet in, and when they have a wallet for SHIB, I think we're going to see arbitrage like nobody's business. And they're going to, my guess is Robinhood bought just tens of millions of dollars in Shiba Inu when the price is really cheap, knowing full well arbitrage is going to happen. And then when they open up their wallets and they open up offering Shiba Inu to everybody, they're going to make a fortune off of it. An absolute fortune. Because again, if you had $1,000 in Shiba Inu in December of last year, you've got billions of dollars of value right now sitting in your account. Man, what a boat to miss. Oh, I would love to have several $1 billion in my account from doing nothing since December. That would be fantastic. That'd be exactly where we want to be with the Moas. Yeah. Bullish is talking about Sayatama coin as well. And saying it's next Shiba. There is so Shiba Inu had 1 quadrillion coins, and 400 and something trillion of them have been burned already. So now we're down to less than 600 trillion Shiba Inu coins in existence. The Sayatama has 100 quadrillion. So it is, 50 times the number of the float out there of those coins than Shiba Inu. But, you buy 100 quadrillion, billion, trillion of them, and it goes up just a fraction. You can make a whole bunch of money off of it. That's what the speculation of shit coins are doing, is that you can buy so many of them. This time last year, you could buy so many Dogecoin for $1,000, and it'd be worth hundreds of millions of dollars now. When the hedge funds decide to pump one of these things, if you do it right, you can make so much money. And I really need to get one of these to go to Doge like that. All right. Oh, shoot. And of course the chat just reset. Okay. Bada Bing says, I have no clue on crypto. No one does. I mean, seriously, can you name another use for crypto beyond speculation, paying for crime, and laundering money? Can you name one? That these crypto coins are used for other than those three things? I can't. That's exactly what it's for. You've got now NFTs being used to launder money. So people are like, oh, the artist can control their artwork and blah, blah, blah. What's happening is people mint an NFT for a couple $100. They have it in one account. And then at auction, they buy it from themselves for hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. So they say, oh, it's got this up for auction over here is NFT. And then over in their Ethereum wallet, oh, you know, I'm going to bid 150 Ethereum for it. And they got that Ethereum by, you know, holding grandma's hostage, their computers hostage, and forcing them to, you know, unlock the computers with the Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever. So they take those ill-gotten gains. They then buy the NFT auction, and I got this NFT that's worth this much money, and they just laundered all that money. They just cleaned all of those Ethereum coins because they just put it right back into their own account again, and it's all money laundering. You know, it used to be to launder money, you'd go to Christie's auction house and buy a whole bunch of jewelry, put them on your wife or whatever, and fly halfway around the world and sell them at Christie's auction house over there again. Now you can just email it. Bloop, here's a kajillion Bitcoin or Litecoin or XRC or whatever you want, Shiba Inu. You can send this stuff all over the world. You can put it on a thumb drive and mail it to them. And it's so much easier to launder money across international borders at this point. I mean, think about if Moas happens and people in Robinhood don't get absolutely screwed by Robinhood, but they have the ability to sell all their stock, buy Bitcoin, and then transfer that Bitcoin to a wallet somewhere else in the world and just be done with it. We might have a lot of folks avoiding taxes because they're going to be like, and I'm out, United States of America. I just Bitcoined a few $100 million to a non-extradition country, and I'm going to go live there now, and for the next 7 years. And then when 7 years is up, I can go wherever I want. I wouldn't doubt we'll see a whole bunch of that happening. So, especially since, you know, you have certain brokerages have a limit of how much cash you can pull out. You can't pull out more than $50,000 a day in Robinhood, but you can transfer, you know, 6,000 Bitcoin or whatever in an instant to another wallet elsewhere in the world, and you're out. You're done. You don't have to worry about the cash. You don't have to worry about cash flow. You can now launder all the money you want. Yeah. So, yeah. Money laundering's the name of the game. Oh, the woman's walking off with a goose in her arms. Is that what I missed in that one? I'm so sorry. She had a goose in her arms? Where's that lady? Oh, she does have a goose in her arms. Oh. Yeah, she does have a goose. Right there. That's totally what I was missing. There's a goose in that lady's arms. I wonder if that goose is alive or not. Did she just reach down and get it? Or did she, is that dinner? Is that a pet? She's like letting them walk out the park like a goose park. Sheep ducking cow ewe. NFT just conveniently blowing up right when money laundering through physical art getting cracked down on. Ta-da! Yeah. Another way that you can, you know, avoid your taxes, and I've talked about this, is private museums. You made $1 billion on a deal, right? You can go to the auction house, and if you're going to owe, let's say, 37% taxes on it, so $370 million. You can go to a big auction house, buy a Monet or a Da Vinci or whatever for $370 million, put the money towards that, and then you have a museum in your living room. Your wife and kids are board members, and it's a nonprofit, and you lend that piece of art to the museum, and it hangs in your living room, and you lend it to the museum, and you lend it at a value of $370 million, and you get a tax write-off of $370 million while having this physical asset in your home. And then the value appreciates at 15% a year or whatever, and down the road, you can sell that sucker for $500 million, $600 million, collect that cash, go and buy a couple more pieces of artwork, hang them in your home. And it's a great way of avoiding taxes. And, you know, it's a little insider circle there. yeah, it's a interesting thing. I do see the benefit of putting some things in NFT. The blockchain is beautiful for ledgers, for maintaining certain integrity and things. But we have entire crypto coins that advertise like, hey, our blockchain is completely hidden. No one's ever going to see it, and you can move money all over the world, and no one will ever know. So why would they be offering that crypto in that way, specifically for the wink wink? No one's ever going to know. You can pay to have a dignitary in Haiti assassinated with all the crypto coins you want. Yeah. Physical gold, keep it or sell. I think it's a great time to buy gold personally. Not financial advice, not financial advisor. Because if the market goes off the cliff in the next whenever, remember we're what, 5 weeks away from the showdown happening with Congress again over the debt ceiling. So, if the debt ceiling again, we default or whatever, the economy's toast, and gold's going to go because people want to stick their money into a solid, tangible asset like gold. Okay. Got 254. Got half an hour, 40 minutes left in today's show. Jone de Jesus, Houston, are cash over 250 kept as collateral to cash secured puts safe when brokers go under? I believe cash accounts have insurance. Either 250 or 500, depending on the insurance on the accounts. That's why I think, if you're going to sell really big during the Moas, it's probably best idea to buy more shares in something or in some other asset, which is probably why a lot of folks are going to be if those wallets are available. A lot of folks will immediately just be buying digital currency and putting it all into that, because at least that wallet, the ownership of that currency is in your wallet. So yeah, there's probably lots of folks thinking about their exit plans post sale, what they're going to do with all that money and how they're going to move it elsewhere. Because having that much cash is going to make people nervous, but turning into stocks that ownership is assigned to you, then you might have, a way of avoiding, if a brokerage goes under, at least there's the record of, who owns what in those computers. Mr. Morgan is pissed in a very foul mood today. Cheer up, baby. Yeah. NSAV has great news today and tanked over 20% in 2 minutes. Yeah, that's why buy on rumor, sell on news. That's the old adage. Ali H. Houston, what do you think if the Moas comes? Will the AMC and GME shares be the approximate same value in all traded stock exchanges? Can we assume that there are also naked shares in Europe? That's interesting. Yeah, there has to be naked shares in Europe because Germany alone owns the equivalent of the float. Like the German citizens own over 50 million GME shares. So there has to be naked shares in Europe. Those naked shares just came from the United States. Because I think there's, like, the Frankfurt market has rules about naked shorting that for their players. So if investors in Frankfurt get their shares from the U.S., transfer them to Frankfurt and sell them there, they're likely synthetic, right? Because how else is Germany going to own the entire float of GameStop otherwise? Trading, this is from Alex. Trading 212 usually list and show plenty of my shares are borrowed out. 80, 90, 100% on most shares. As of yesterday, they were all 0% without exception. Really? Huh. That's weird. Because trading 212, you don't have the option of turning off lending of your shares. They just do it because they're one of those weird European systems where they've got some sort of holding company that buys the shares elsewhere and hold them in the United States and then just assign ownership for you in the UK or wherever you're trading from. And so they just lend that stuff out and make a fortune off of all those shares. So it'd be interesting why they're at 0%. That's interesting. Anyone else have 212 that can verify Alex's readings there? I'd be curious to see. William Morgan, he's still naked, but the neighbors complained. Gotta wear shorts now. Drew Saul, random since you mentioned it by mistake. I did a quick dig. Fintel states Big 5 dark pool short volume is at 58.7%. Looks like Big 5 might have itself a tangential Moas as a result. All right. Andrew Stewart's giving me some coordinates. Let's see where we are. 37 degrees north, 108. That's northern Nevada? Is that where we're going? Okay. Scene. Google Earth. Go there. Nah, highlight it all. Come on. Highlight. Control V. Go. Where are we? What state are we in? Utah? Cliff Palace. What state are we in? I got to figure out where I am. Colorado? Where am I? Yep, near Four Corners, so Colorado. Cliff Palace. Is this the weird castle that guy's building? Oh no! Oh no! This is an old like Anasazi Pueblo people's place. Okay, yeah. All right, that's where we are. Cage Well, yeah, this place is rad. I've not been here yet, but one of the wonders right here. Go on the trail and check it out. Let's check it out. Let's get closer. Let's go check it out. Come on. Just repeats this over and over again. I'll go that way. Oh, we can go that way. There we go. What? This is rad. What a cool place. Yeah, cool places in the world. Ancient peoples did cool things. You know, like Frank Lloyd Wright would have loved to have built a house in a location like this. And stand the test of time for a couple thousand years. That'd be rad. Carnivore 3 Club. Crypto is speculation paying for crime and money laundering. I'm in. Tyranzik, what's the best way to go about buying gold and silver? Well, you can do it through like ETFs and mutual funds. There's actual like gold mutual funds that buy, and you're essentially buying at market price with a little bit of premium for the folks that manage those holdings. I don't do that because I suck my gold out of the earth. And then I also spend a decent amount of time cruising auctions looking for broken bits of electronics and jewelry, and then I recycle it into gold bars. So I do that. And I get that much cheaper. I can be lucky sometimes, and I can get, you know, a 10-ounce silver bar that should be selling for like $220 to $250. I might be able to get for $40. So I just, you know, 6x'd my investment right there because I can turn around and I can put it on eBay and sell that gold bar at price, at cost, at market price, spot price. And so if you got the time and you do that stuff, and you got the knowledge, you can buy it that way, or you can just be passive. And like any other investment, Moas happens, market's going to crash. You dump it all into a gold mutual fund, and 3 months later, it might have doubled itself again. So why not? Why not take those wins? Moon Ape, Houston, what's the best way to study? I don't know. I never studied. Like, in college, people are like, oh, I got to study for this test. I never once in my life did that. I went to study sessions. Like, for astronomy exam, we're going to have a study session in the library. You want to come join? And I would go and I would just like shoot the shit with people, not do anything. While other folks were like trying to go over questions and whatnot. I just, I don't know, I do it once and I don't really need to think about doing it again. So I'm a terrible person when it comes to studying. The only time I took notes in math class, and that's it. Because I'd write out the equations because my brain would have to see the equations written out to understand it. But I never took notes otherwise in other courses. I should say physics because there are equations in physics. But if it was qualitative learning, like sitting in a class and the teacher's just dumping history or principles on your head, I would just sit there and listen, and that's just what I did. I was not a note taker. There was do I have that? I found a notebook I had not used in a long time, and I wonder where it is. But it was an entire notebook I'd gotten for biogeography in college. And every day, I would set the notebook in front of me with a pencil and just listen to the teacher, Dr. Jim Juvic, the best lecturer I ever had and may ever have. And he would just impart knowledge and wisdom on your head all day long. And I would just sit there and listen. And he would come in and he would say, the same things at the beginning of class every single day. And you just listen to it and you repeat the main qualifiers of what biogeography is. And then you'd go on with the new lessons. And it's one of the classes where people were like, oh, he never gives A's. You will never get an A in anything ever. And then I got like an A on my tests. And people are like, how'd you do that? I'm like, I just listened to the man. And then when he asked the question on the test, I just repeated what he said. It's not that hard. And I sat between these two girls. And one day, Dr. Juvic was talking about the difference between in situ and ex situ observations that scientists do. So there's ex situ, like they're viewing it from back here and they're looking at everything. And there's in situ where like they're inside of the observation. The Jane Goodall is learning about chimpanzees by being inside the chimpanzee environment. So there's in situ and ex situ. And that was the first time I'd heard those terms. And I opened up my book and I wrote in situ and ex situ and then closed my book. And both girls just frantically were like in situ, ex situ. And they're like, oh my God, Houston wrote something. But beyond that, just read things. People have different types of memories. So what I've learned in math class is there are people who just get it. You show them the equation on the board and they're like, oh, okay, I totally get that. And it might be like 5 and 25. One in 5 people just totally get it. They are math people. They will always be math people, and it makes sense. And then you've got 15 and 25, the 3 and 5, who they got to work at it. They got to do the problems over and over. They got to have the rote memorization isn't going to work. They've got to do it over and over and over and over and over. And their subconscious is working on the reasons why this works. And eventually it goes bing, and they understand it. And then you got the 5 and 25 in the classroom, 1 and 5 overall, that it's hopeless. They're never going to get it. I could work with them forever. We could do 1,000 problems over and over again, and it's just never going to click. And their genius lies somewhere else. They might be able to draw amazing pictures, play musical instruments, create poetry, do an amazing athletic sport or ballet or something, but their genius does not lie in the mathematical equations, and we can spend all day, every day working on it, and it's just never going to happen. So the studying styles have to vary for each person as a result. We got, so you know, I had math classes growing up where the teacher would give 100 problems of homework every single night to everybody, and it was just stupid. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. That's hours of my time. I get it already. Sorry, Miss Cooper, ain't gonna happen. And then Miss Cooper would get all upset, and then I would get 100% or greater on the math test with the extra credit, and she'd be like, you don't do any homework. How are you getting such good grades in the test? I'm like, because you showed it to me once and I'm good to go. And then there's other folks that need to do it over and over. They need those 100 problems. So in my math classes, what I did was, you know, might have 5 quizzes throughout the quarter and a final. And if you get 80% or better on your quiz, I don't need to see the homework for that section. I give you 100% for your homework. Done. Good. You're cool. If you get below 80%, I want you to go back and do the homework assignments and turn them in by the end of the quarter before the final. And so what ends up happening is I've got the people who get 80% on all 5 of their quizzes. They get 100% of their homeworks. They do fine in the final. They're done. I get the people that bombed their quizzes, and they go back and they do all those homeworks. I'm talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of problems. They give me a stack of homework the day of the final that I've got a grade. It's a pain in the ass, but they absolutely destroy the final. I'm talking higher grades than the kids that just got it. 110% because they got every single problem plus the extra credit problems, and they save their grade and they move on and they understand the math all of a sudden. And so I don't want to punish the folks who just get it, but I also want to make sure the folks who don't have a natural ability have the opportunity for their subconscious to work on this stuff, because it's a do or die. They got to turn this homework in order to get, you know, a good grade for the course, and it rewards them in the end. They absolutely just kill the finals. It's the folks that don't do anything at all. They don't do the homework. They don't do the quizzes. They don't do the finals. Those are the ones that fail, and I can gladly fail those guys. But maybe one out of every class is just so lazy they won't do anything. And I'm not worried about those guys. So that's my teaching philosophy anyway when it comes to math. And if I were teaching like engineers math, it'd be different. But right now I just teach art students. And so as long as the art students, you know, understand that at some point milk is $3.50 at Safeway because some guy made a parabola to do a cost benefit analysis to decide that's exactly the best cost benefit for pricing milk, then it's cool. They don't have to figure it out in the future. They just have to know that someone else, that's what they're doing. Yeah. No Labs. This is from Daphne Berry. Case for potential. Well, No Labs, their primary focus right now is getting FDA approval for their non-invasive glucose monitoring system. So they've got 2 of them. They got one that kind of works like one of those little finger oxygenator things, and they've got one that will go around the wrist. And the one that goes on the finger, I think, is slated to start being tested sometime next year. And I believe the one that goes around the wrist is being tested now. And right now, you have 30 million Americans alone who have diabetes and need to do tests at least once a day of their glucose levels. And it costs about $1 per test to do that. And they got to prick their fingers and get blood, and it takes time and all these things. Or they've got a pump or something that's built into them, which is invasive. So if you can do a glucose monitoring system that can monitor the glucose 24 hours a day, every single day, all year long, because it's on a little wristband, everyone's going to want it. And if you're looking at 30 million people, let's do the calculator time. Calculator time. Yeah, scene. Google Earth. Got a calculator. Okay. So we've got 30 million people that all have diabetes in the United States. And we've got another 70 million that are pre-diabetic. So there's a lot of people who are diabetes related in the U.S., almost 10% of the population. They got to do $1 a day. So that's $1. So that's $30 million a day in finger pricks on average. And there's 365 days a year, right? That's a $10.9 billion market in just finger pricks alone. Not bad, right? So if you can make a glucose monitoring system that does not involve finger pricks, you can actually charge a premium, maybe $99 a month. So it might be 30 million people, 30 million people, and they all pay $109 for the device. Boom, there's $3 billion bucks. Plus, you got 30 million people, and their insurance is paying for a $99 a month subscription to that. Oops. Come back. Go. Ugh. Sorry. 33 million. Their insurance is paying a $99 subscription 12 times a year. So now you just turn a $10 billion market into a $40 billion a year market like that. Because people will gladly pay the premium, insurance companies will gladly pay the premium for a system that's non-invasive, that doesn't hurt their fingers and have to prick and get blood, and it's going to give them real-time monitoring so that they don't have to worry about, oh, am I going to pass out? Do I need a cookie? Because they'll have an alarm. They'll like go to Bluetooth on their phone and say, hey, dude, eat a cookie. Oh, holy shit. All right. Good idea. So you're going to have less injury as a result of these diabetes. You're going to have less people having sores or gangrenous limbs and things like that. And it'll be cheaper in the long run. So that premium, that 4x premium per year, means that if this system is approved by No Labs, that they're going to be $100 billion plus corporation like that, because they will dominate and own the entire non-invasive glucose monitoring network. They are in competition with Metamaterials. Metamaterials has got a different system. I don't know how theirs works. I've never taken a tour of the Metamaterials lab, but I did have to sign an NDA when I took a tour of No Labs a few years ago, so I can't talk about the specifics behind their tech, but it is cool. It is really cool, and you can adjust it and find the makeup of everything. You could point it at this baseball, and it will tell you the chemical composition of pretty much all the molecules inside of this baseball. It is a tricorder device. It is rad, but they're going for the glucose monitoring first because it's a guaranteed market that's going to make them so much cash, just hand over fist, right off the bat, that they will be able to then take this tech and move it into other realms. So it's cool stuff. It's really cool. And somebody tweeted me earlier and asked about Graphene Metal Group, GMG. They're the ones that have the aluminum ion batteries that can charge in like a minute and hold 10 to 12 times the energy of lithium ion without any of the cooling problems. They just signed an agreement with Bosch, and Bosch is going to be building the tooling in their new giant factory. So the factory's broke ground and the construction is beginning now, and they're going to start pumping out cells for their batteries. And their first step is going to be plug and play. So battery systems that are currently, lithium ion inside of a Toyota Prius, you'll be able to take that out and put in their aluminum ion battery system just like that and plug it in, and all of a sudden get 10 times the distance on a charge and charge it in just a matter of minutes. And that's the future. So GMG stock prices went up as a result of all that news. Yeah, so they're coming. They're up and coming. There's tech of the future that we're going to be learning about. David Gap says, that's how I go through it as well. How am I supposed to listen, pay attention, write notes, and comprehend anything? It's nuts. Yeah, that's my thing, is I'd rather just listen to them, and then I can go back to the book or something for reference. I took another class from Dr. Juvic that was amazing. It was my climatology course in college. And every single day, Dr. Juvic would come in and say the same thing. He'd ask, why does it rain? Well, the sun warms up the air rises. As it rises, it cools, condenses, forms clouds, and it rains. That's the simplest explanation to answer why does it rain. Next day, he'd come in and say, why does it rain? The sun warms the air rises, it cools, condenses, forms clouds, and rains. Day after that, he'd come in and ask, why does it rain? The sun warms the air rises, it cools, condenses, forms clouds, and it rains. He said this over and over and over and over for 4 months. It started every single class, every single day. And every single day, these students would write down, why does it rain? The sun warms the air rises, it cools and condenses and forms clouds, and then that's why it rains. Every single day for 4 months, 70 times, they wrote this down in their books, every single day. And then on the test, the first question is, why does it rain? And no one got it, because they would write it down again and again and again and again, but they never actually remembered it. It never clicked, never settled like, hey, stick in your brain. And I would sit there without my notes and I'd listen to him repeat the same thing every single day. And I go, yeah, I already know why it rains. You explained this 3 months ago. Why are we doing this again? And then I saw the fact that no one could get it right because they wrote it down 70 times and they never actually bothered paying attention to what he was saying. It was remarkable. It was like my first real true lesson in pedagogy, I think. And just listen to folks. They'll tell you. I'll explain the same thing over and over again. And I hope you're not at home taking notes, man. Well, don't take notes on my show. Just sit there and listen. When I've got a lesson to teach you, I'll teach it to you. And then you'll know. Yeah. Okay, 3:19. I got 15 minutes or so that I can keep going here. For the day's show. Let me scroll back and see if there's questions. There's probably tons of questions I missed because I am a question misser. Okay, that's buyback question. Got that. William Morgan says housing market will tank. It's a bubble. I think it's totally is a bubble. It's not sustainable. I think that we need to do certain regulations in the housing market to essentially limit the number of landlords. Like I understand you build a tall building with 500 units in it. You're going to rent them all out. You're going to have some sort of property management company. I get the business model. I understand folks, in their retirement buying several homes and becoming landlords. And I get the business model. The problem is that there are so many landlords and so few unique homeowners now that it inflates the price of homes beyond what is reasonable. And these folks make it so that there's a limited supply of homes available for sale, and so that young homeowners don't have the opportunity, young buyers don't have the opportunity to enter the market at a reasonable price, especially along the coasts where the prices are absolutely nuts in the U.S. So I would not object to saying, okay, you're allowed to own 4 homes. That's it. That's all an individual can own is 4 homes. And any company can only own 4 homes, and their subsidiaries combined can only own 4 homes. And everything else becomes for sale. And that gives people the opportunity to actually buy property rather than renting it at gigantic premiums. There's no reason that BlackRock should be allowed to purchase 800,000 housing units across the United States. That should not be. That to me is oligarchy in the making, monopoly in the making. And, BlackRock can own 4 homes. I'm okay with BlackRock owning 4 homes. But yeah, I would like to see some regulation on that. You can own your main home, your vacation home, and maybe 2 rentals. That's enough for people. They shouldn't have to, go out and own 700 homes and become weird slumlords that can't manage those properties. Because then it brings down the value of entire neighborhoods in certain areas, and at the same time making it impossible for folks to have a reasonable price for their homes, for their housing costs. I wouldn't mind seeing some sort of regulations on that stuff. Okay. Bullish is a great landlord. Read my Airbnb reviews. That's another thing is, like in my community, there are so few rentals available because people make so much money off of Airbnb. And, so what would be a mother-in-law unit above a garage rented out for $800 a month becomes an Airbnb that gets rented out for $200 a night. So obviously the homeowners can be like, yeah, I'm going to Airbnb that shit. I don't need to worry about having a tenant. I will have party animals come in every couple of days, and I just got to clean the place for a huge premium. But it removes housing units from the market. And we had a weird, interesting thing happen in my community. There's this lot that had a restaurant on it, and the restaurant burned down in a lightning storm. And the lot's been sitting empty for 9 years. And a company came in like, hey, we want to build a hotel and a little convention center on this like 1 acre lot. Just 70 rooms and a little conference center. And a whole bunch of people went, no, absolutely not. You could not build a hotel there. That is too much development. And what I think it really was a whole bunch of folks that have mother-in-law units, the Airbnb, that were having a hissy fit because they know that having a nice hotel is competition for the Airbnbs. And we don't really have much hotel space in my community. And so I think it was that project was killed by the city council because people in the city council make money off their Airbnbs and they don't want to have competition. So that's a theory of mine that's happening. Yeah. Okay, got 10 minutes or so. Scroll back up, try to find questions I missed because there's a whole like hour of questions in here that got skipped. Okay. Okay. Hope it wasn't asked before. Thoughts on RC's tweet? Is this the sumo one? With the little kid pushing the sumo wrestler around? My guess is just, simple David and Goliath situation. That, got the little guy versus the big clearinghouse or the hedge funds. That's probably what that means. Some people may be able to find more symbolism in there, but I'm really bad at identifying such things. Okay, that's Prague. That's housing market question. We did that. Stimulus check should have gone to SHIB. Yes, I just wish I'd put $1,000 into SHIB back in December. I should do recorded shows. I should do the woulda, coulda, shoulda, and we can go back and find ways to become a billionaire if we had just done something differently, right? So I read a tweet thread about like if you had invested in GameStop, how would you be a billionaire today if you invested X number of dollars into GameStop? So maybe I should do a series of videos that would coulda, woulda, shoulda, and it would be how to turn $1,000 into $1 billion over a set period of time. And we'll go back and we'll look like Monday morning quarterback certain trades you could have made at certain moments of time to end up with $1 billion today. That'd be kind of fun. Okay, I'm gonna start looking into those. Because the easiest one is, if I had just spent $1,000 on Shiba Inu 10 months ago, I would be a billionaire right now. You could have bought 1/30 of all the Shiba Inu on Earth for $1,000 in December. 1/30. That means for $30,000, the price of a car, you could own all of the Shiba Inu that will ever exist back in December of last year. What? And now it's trading at, enough fractions of a penny that you'd have $31 billion. It's crazy. It's just mind-blowing to think about these things. I had $8,000 just in a checking account April of last year, and I use it for building projects because COVID had hit and we're not going anywhere. I've got plenty of time at home. And I built out the wood shop in my garage, and I bought some new tools, and I did all that stuff. And if I'd taken $8,000 and just bought GameStop back then. I didn't know. I was not aware, not even checked in at all back then. I was not day trading. I was not doing that stuff. And if I just spent the $8,000 then, I would have had like 1.4 million at the peak on January 28th. So if I had been lucky enough to sell at that peak at 1.4 million, and I could have bought back in at, at 40, carried it through, I would have had like $16 million the second time it peaked. And then I could have bought nothing but $15 calls on AMC for like 63 cents a share and sold that in June and had over 1.3 billion at the end of that. Bah! So in like 3 trades, basically made $1.3 billion in a year or 13 months. It's crazy to like Monday morning quarterback that stuff and think about it. If I hadn't sold my Shiba Inu for a helicopter ride, I would have $10,000 more right now. Abel Guerrero, did you see the tweet? Unusual Whales. Someone had a wallet and bought 8,000 Shiba since last year, and it was 5.7 now? 5.7 billion? Is that? I have to find that Unusual Whales tweet. Twitter.com. Search it. Unusual Whales. Oh, I can't spell. Save my life. Unusual Whales. There we go. There it is. Let's bring it up. Let's bring it up on the main screen here. Shiba Inu. There we go. Want to see the best trade of all time? This wallet bought $8,000 of SHIB last August, now worth $5.7 billion. $5.7 billion in 400 days. He owns 16% of the total market cap. Yeah, man. That's the shit right there. Holy smokes. Let's see that. I cannot see that at all. But, oh, goodness gracious. You're going to get an invitation to WEF with that kind of money. My word. That's just crazy to think about. I was reading something about if when the iPod came out and it was, like $299 for the first iPod in 2001. When the first iPod came out, if you had taken that money and instead put $299 into Apple stock, you would have like $70,000 today off of that $299 investment. It's weird. It's weird to think about like things like that. Just hurt my brain. How many times you, me, and everyone else just completely missed the boat on this stuff, and it's mind-boggling. So $8,000 would be 5.7 billion, and that's last August. It bottomed out in November, December of last year, so it was worth a fraction of what this person bought at in August of last year. So if they had spent $8,000, they would have had so much more. It'd be crazy. It's wild. Welcome to the Boat Misters Club. We're just missing that boat all the time. Thank you for pointing that tweet out. That's it's mind-blowing. It's absolutely mind-blowing. Thank you. Thank you there, Abel and Optimus. Gonna be a trillionaire when SHIB hits a penny. How would SHIB hit a penny? Because there's 400 trillion of these coins, right? So that'll be a market cap of $4 trillion for Shiba Inu coin. And how? The Russian dude who started Ethereum, he was given like 90% of Shiba Inu coins total. And he like burned 90% of that and then gave 10% of it to an Indian nonprofit in India that's helping people with COVID or something. And those folks quantified all of it and made their money, and they're sitting pretty. But my God, yeah. What's the math percent on each 0 SHIB or digit we move? Each digit is 10 times. So I think this year, since January 1st, Shiba Inu is up like 100 million% or something like that, which is just a crazy number to think about. So yeah, so since January 1st, like 100 million% is the upwards. So crazy. Absolutely just nuts. Yeah, so if we shave a 0 off, oh my goodness, where are we sitting right now? Since we've been talking, it went from 7 to 8. And SHIB's at back 7.4. So still sitting pretty. People are able to jump back in and do all their sales. So my guess is price action drops a little bit as a result. But missing that boat. I should make t-shirts that said "Miss that boat." Everyone can wear them because we're all boat missers. We miss the boats constantly. That's why you're on this podcast. We're just a bunch of boat missers, hoping to make our boat someday. Developers are burning coins until we reach a penny. That'd be pretty awesome. There's a SHIB burn account. I think that's what it's called. SHIB burn. So they record the number of coins that are being burnt. So the past hour, there have been 5 million SHIB tokens burned in 2 transactions. So far, there's 410 trillion SHIB tokens that have been burned. So we're of the initial supply of 1 quadrillion. So we've got 589 quadrillion SHIB coins that still exist. That's where we're sitting. But they update, past hour, 3 million SHIB tokens burned. It's just a bot that records how many have been burned. Past hour, 4 million burned. So we're looking at 3 to 4 million SHIB tokens burned every hour on average. 5 million burned. So yeah, there's someone out there. There's someone out there burning SHIBs so that they don't exist anymore. But crypto is such a weird thing. What's Shiba Inu going to be used for? Speculation, man. That's what it's used for. And I will gladly make money off all that speculation. Yeah. Chris Murillo asks, Houston, do you think Melvin covered their shorts or not? I think they covered. I don't think they closed their position. I think what they did was they did debt swaps, equity swaps, and bought deep in the money calls and puts. I think that's exactly what they did. Yep. So, yeah, we're Melvin screwed. Melvin lost a ton of money because I think a whole bunch of their clients pulled their cash out. About half their clients were like, yeah, we're done with you, Melvin. Give us our money back. And so they lost half of their assets under management value as a result. So they went from like a $20 billion fund to a $10 or $12 billion fund as a result. But yeah, they didn't close their positions. They're still deep in it. They didn't have enough cash on hand to close their positions. So none of those guys have closed. No one's closed. They just moved the money around and reset their FTDs and swap debts, and that's what they do. Ferris F asks, are we going to see you after Moas? That's a good question. I mean, if after Moas, if I do shows, they're going to be nothing but charity shows. That's Houston's post Moas world. If I do shows, yeah. So, but my guess is I'm going to be doing lots of traveling with this young lady right here, and we're going to go see places in the world we've always wanted to see because we couldn't take the time or money to do it. And that's my dream, is to just see the world, meet people all over the place, and fill my brain with whatever knowledge they can pass on to me and experiences that I can enjoy. So the problem with like retirement when you're old is that you're creaky and you can't do a lot of things. So I want to be able to climb mountains and explore places and go on hikes and do lots of stuff I won't be able to do when I'm old. And that's the dream of an early retirement, is to be able to do that stuff much sooner than later. Like I don't want to, my retirement be spent recovering from hip replacements. I want my retirement to be much more enjoyable earlier. So, but I won't doubt if I go film in a lot of these locations and show you these places in the world, and so the other folks can enjoy it. Yeah. Dead broke investments. Is there anything to keep hedge funds and market makers from continuing to keep this going in perpetuity? That's the beauty of all the hypotheses, all the theories about the NFT dividend from potential NFT from GameStop, is that I think it is a checkmate. That once you lock this stuff up into the blockchain, you can't short it anymore, and they're going to have to close. They're not going to be able to cover. They're not going to be able to like reset FTDs. They're going to have to buy up every single solitary share, because all the real shares are going to leave their system forever to a system that cannot be naked shorted, because it's locked up in a non-fungible token. So only the actual legit share in that blockchain will be able to trade. And I think that's the game over. Yeah. Him Duncan, their clients' return on investment, terrible for Melvin. So this is from March of last year. Michael Jordan was invested in Melvin. He lost $500 million just on the GameStop squeeze alone. So he played golf with Plotkin, I think, and then Plotkin convinced him to invest in his hedge fund. So his net worth is still $1.6 billion. He basically lost 25% of his wealth since April of last year. So yeah. So Gabe Plotkin owns part of the Hornets. Interesting. Yeah. There you go. Yep. So Michael Jordan is one of those guys that invested with Plotkin and lost a bunch of money. How's that feel, Michael? Is you sad about that? You are a gambler. He's a big gambler, so he doesn't always win on those gambles. All right. Okay. I got to get going here. So, we have anything last little questions for anybody that I've missed? Any big ones? I'm not seeing. Monkey butt? Monkey butt. Come here. Come here. I know you're lazy. Come on. Say hi and goodbye to everybody. Say hi and goodbye. Come on. Look up here. Look up here. There you go. There's Monkey butt. She's saying she's going to give you a gift. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Bye-bye.